Hey everyone, Harry here to talk about the hearing this morning in the courtroom of Judge Juan Merchan, who is going to be presiding over the voter deception trial brought by Alvin Bragg. So remember, there was a bit of a puzzle here because it seemed like the legal issue was just how much time does Trump need to process a relatively small number, a couple hundred of pages of material that might help in the cross-examination of Michael Cohen, and yet Merchan had said had scheduled 2 days for the hearing, and it seemed as if maybe he was interested in going through the whole controversy over why it took a while for Trump to have these pages. And Trump, of course, had been claiming terrible misconduct on the part of the DA and a basis for dismissing the whole case and the like. All right, so we found out how that was going to go down, and pretty quickly, and it was not good, really not good for Trump. I would say, on balance, even having dodged the big bullet or cannonball of the bond that I talked about in a different YouTube. This is a bad day for him because of what it augurs for the upcoming trial. So in the event, the actual hearing was a few hours, which is basically what it took for him to say, I don't see what the big deal is here in terms of preparation, and we can stick with a April 15th date to begin to select a jury. And it seems quite clear that the case will go to trial and go to the jury, say, the end of May. Maybe it's a 4 to 6 week trial. But that's just the headline in the legal rulings. What happened in the courtroom was fairly catastrophic for Todd Blanche, Trump's lawyer, because he did try to say every document matters, all 100,000, etc. And, when he was pushed by Merchan, well, which ones do you care about? All of them. That's a very poor answer when there's no reason to think any of them except the sheaf about Michael Cohen really matters. But then he, and perhaps he's either performing for or following the orders of his client, Donald Trump, sitting at the table next to him. And this was another demonstration of why Donald Trump is the worst client in the history of the world, because he pushed him to take this kind of stance, how terrible the DA was, and Merchan really was having none of it, and it really hurt Blanche's credibility, which is the coin of the realm going forward. Just a terrible day. The judge came within an eyelash of calling him a liar. He said there's been a whole pattern where you make these big charges and you present facts that I have a very different interpretation. That's a very polite way of saying I don't believe you. He asked for one case. He said, the accusations you're bringing against the DA are incredibly serious, this kind of terrible misconduct. And it's true that Trump just thinks nothing of the most outrageous allegations about corruption on the part of prosecutors that, if true, would mean that those people should immediately lose their law licenses, if not go to jail, which, by the way, may well be attempted should Trump become president. And Merchan was like, there's nothing here, but he didn't just say there's nothing here and let it go. He really slapped Todd Blanche around. So for one, Trump, who, is sort of a James Bond villain, and in terms of his attitude when his employees don't perform according to him, he will want not to. It was evident that things went poorly for Blanche. who knows if that changes things, though it shouldn't. Blanche is a competent lawyer and the right person in the stable of Trump lawyers anyway for this job. But he looks bad in front of Trump, but more importantly, he looks bad in front of the judge. And the judge also, I think, made clear that he is not going to brook any crap about insults to the system and the whole trial, etc. Trump immediately went out and called the whole thing rigged and election interference, kind of ironic, but he's saying it's interfering with this election when the trial is actually about his covering up information that could have very possibly harmed his prospects for winning the 2016 election. Anyway, Mayor Chan made it clear he's just not going to have any patience for that. And indeed, Trump could quickly find himself on the other end of a gag order. And even then, should he violate it, on the other end of a contempt citation, because, we're talking now about a trial. This hasn't happened before. And 12 persons, good and true, are in the jury box. And and they're not sequestered. And if Trump says things that possibly make their way back to them about the, how corrupt or flawed the whole trial is, Mayor Chan, I think, will just hit the roof and, really bring it down hard on Blanche and Trump. And that's kind of his playbook, So first, there's going to be a trial, first ever criminal trial against a former president. We should stop for a second and process that headline. But then second, it's going to be one with favorable, and I'm not saying biased, but favorable as justified under the law, ability of the DA to tell the story the DA wants to tell about what Trump was doing. And then if Trump's playbook, as it normally is, to just try to vilify the prosecution, I don't think he's going to get out of the box with it. And Mayor Chan has shown himself quite willing to come down hard. And Blanche, I think, starts with 2 strikes against him before they've even selected a jury. So that's the story there. The 15th will go ahead with the jury selection. Let's say it takes a week. Then they've said 6 weeks. I think it might be shorter. And in particular, I don't really see what the defense is going to be here, assuming Trump doesn't testify, which until it's proven otherwise, that remains axiom number 1 for me. And if it doesn't, I don't really think there's much I can say. Their big opportunity, if you want to call it that, will be to try to really have a bruising cross-examination of Michael Cohen, who matters here. He's an important witness, and there are points they can draw. He's a convicted felon after all, and in conduct involving this very case. But still, he's told a pretty consistent story, and I think it's pretty believable that what he did for Donald Trump. But so that's all coming up, and, it's different from arguing in front of a judge. There's a jury that a judge is there to protect, and the Donald Trump playbook he doesn't like, and he made clear he doesn't like. So in that sense, he narrowed the options for Trump today. And April 15th is A, really coming, and B, looking pretty ominous for Trump and his lawyer, for now, Todd Blanche. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.